Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, I got a lot to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to manage to do it in one day. It's very necessary because I got to move to the next levels of productiveness. Now, that said, listen, please, to the entire share. That is so fortifying. And this is going to be fun. All right, let's just put it that way. So this is a gin and juice, as they whimsically refer to themselves. And I thank Brother Water Sniper for highlighting their content, their dilemma right now. I'll get into that a bit. But that Korean gentleman's name is Gohan, and the young lady behind him is cirrhosis or cirrhosis something. I don't want to say it's like cirrhosis of the liver. And I'm not here to just take pot shots, although my just instincts is to protect Black us from all potential threats. And this would be defined as an interracial relationship. And thereby, there are those who would consider this as, let them just do them. It's not a threat at all. But it is. Because they run a YouTube channel called The Sons. And it's got 834,000 subscribers talking about just silly stuff. And I'm not going to scroll down because I'm not trying to showcase the children. They have 2 children together. This is the one screen capture I got where I blanked out the child's eyes because I have not empathy. Let's say I sympathize for the plight of biracials, even though they're not Black. They're also not the other nation or race that they're just mindlessly pivoted on giggles and gags parents and just, the titillation for all kinds of dysfunctional reasons outcome of their parents and getting together and not taking into account that all children want to know, where do I come from? And if it doesn't exist, it's quite a vacuum. I know that each one of Black us who are part of the diasporic mass abduction and in whatever regard that was accomplished, it's a profound, just almost, it feels irresolvable, this disconnect from knowing our origins all the way through antiquity. And thereby, when you're a biracial and then you're born and you really are not, you don't want to be Black. Pretty much, you want to be associated with the dudes who have the most respect, even if they don't have the money. You want to know that they're respected, and that ain't Black us. If we're looking for the world's approval of who we are, once we don't give a damn, we realize, oh, dang, I'm Black. Aren't I blessed? All right? But that's a difficult leap of just, biracial would have to be darn near a god to really thoroughly understand and accept the beauty of being Black. They're not Black. It won't make them Black, but still, it does happen, but very rarely where a biracial will wake up like that. So I sympathize with them because it's truly a theft of the might of melanin and a theft of them being able to have a clear, unambiguous history, a connection to whichever side. And so with Gohan, he's abandoned his, I think she's still his girlfriend. I didn't see anything about, we got married. At the outset, this is, from what I saw, I don't know if they deleted a lot of videos, but this is the baby shower. And it's titled, my girlfriend. And I'm just like, these are not well-thinking people. You're having a baby. And you are, especially for the Black woman, you are engaged with a whole separate culture. And you are going to get knocked up by a man whose culture is an anathema to you. Like in their videos, they would share questions about how different they were. It's like, yo, chick, get a clue. And I had stated that even the interracial relationships are a threat to Black us because it gives this normalizing script that this is perfectly okay to be clueless about a potential lifetime partner, the father or the mother of your only future, and you're gonna just throw it all on to a person who you don't begin to understand. Because that's the thing about Korea. And most of these expatriate Black folks who race on over to other nations in order to just get cookie points, brownie points. I'm looking at this photo here. We're the Black people at your baby shower. And this is in the Merdecas where this baby shower is taking place. It's not in Korea. And this woman has managed to surround herself with completely non-Black people. There's something severely wrong with her opinion of who she was born to be. Which group of people she will get the most affirmation. Even her, moniker or her nickname she has for herself, Chocolate Thunder. I'm like, wow. And you're surrounded by non-Black folks and you're calling yourself that? That is true Procyon Lothar types of just, please. Please, look, I'm willing to make fun of my own Blackness and, largesse. This is one video where Gohan is taking care of her hair. And, she had braids and he was cutting them off and there was so much discomfort between the two of them, even though they're like trying to laugh it off. But it's an alien culture. They're both alien to each other. So I am not surprised that Gohan finally his family snapped out of it and just convinced him, what the hell are you doing? And that's part of the colonizing effect of the concubine mindset, where in Korean society, family is more important than individuality. Now, Gohan, I noticed with his hair, he processes his hair. But you are not going to see any videos of, I don't want to say her name incorrectly, so I'm just going to say Chocolate Thunder. You are not going to see any videos of Chocolate Thunder doing his hair. Because for him, it would be an acknowledgement that he rejects his culture. He is emotionally out of balance to what is in his spirit more important to him than his own individuality. That's Korean, that's Asian. They got issues, but they're not our issues. And they have a right to just live through their issues. Maybe they're productive for them. But in listening to many just videos and the share that Brother Water Sniper put on his channel where she finally broke down and she finally was complaining. Her Korean dude in shining Josian era armor is not at all like what she dreams. She even says she dreams that he was just phenomenal. He ain't that guy. He is not at all what her fantasies just wanted to fill in a blank. This the dude. No. When these guys imitate black culture, what they perceive as black culture, it's always inevitable that it's based around the most glaring stereotypes that our enemy depicts us as, and then we take on because they've the enemy made it to seem as if it's a route of success for us. And so when these dudes come in, non-black people imitating us, we make a grave error believing that they mean it as a flattery to us because they're not trying to really understand us. They're trying to express their own inner rage with whatever macro dysfunction they feel overwhelmed by in their societies. So oftentimes what this is a feature of is simply their youth, simply their discomfort with stepping into adulthood. And thereby, I assess that all that happened to Gohan is that he just grew up. He just grew up and he realized that he wants to revert back to his traditional Korean culture. Now, I don't mean that he's going to change and, stop friggin' processing his hair. But overall, he's like, okay, I don't want to live my life with my parents hating me. And so, for them, this was just some dalliance that he had. It's no big deal. That's why he's not really that troubled by abandoning his two sons. And her, oh well. And we all know, even though there was no content bashing black men, that for her to be screwdrivered with a jackhammer into completely non-black society, as deeply, beautifully melanated as she is, she would accuse a black man who would have it, because she's just a bad judge of character. She would have accused a black man of, in a second, she would not have given him so many excuses, so many just thoughts in her mind to analyze away his obviously despicable behavior. And the reason I know that she has a fantasy about him is because she had the nerve to call his parents racist. She made an observation that they said this whole thing was taking place on their huge channel, and in the chat room, the parents were saying, look, black people are agreeing with you. Korean people are agreeing with us. And she just went on in her rant that his parents are just so awful. They're just racist. And I was like, what a colonizing comment to make. I'm going to go to your country that has been around, your culture, your traditions that have been around for thousands of years. And I'm going to tell you who have hurt me, not at all, my people, not at all. I'm going to tell you what's wrong and what's right. How friggin' maniacal is that? Right? And so I'm just like always saying, if you like Korea, if you like Japan, if you like China, I don't know how, I'm just saying, support them staying exactly what they are. Why would you want to go in there and infiltrate them with this, like every or anybody out there in the whole world? If you don't like me, if you don't approve of me as a black person, you must be racist. If they do harm to you, that's a whole different measure. And I'm not saying they can't be racist, but you're over there. And she's learned, I don't know, because I don't speak Korean. I have no interest in it. I watch a whole bunch of Korean dramas, and a couple words I might get here or there. But at the same time, I'm just like, what the heck? I'm not trying to learn Korean. I got other things I want to fill my brain with. But she, from what I'm hearing with the accent, oh my goodness, she is phenomenally fluent in this language. Learning how to speak a language doesn't turn you into a Korean. Doesn't turn you into anything other than what you were already meant to be, but some more stuff. Good for you. You obviously don't know enough, because he is not going to be confessing to the fact that a lot of Asians have inadequacies just inside their culture, like all cultures do. Right? There are books out there. I hate Korea. Right? But at the foundational level, Koreans are about family. They are deeply about family. The children will break up in relationships if it's discovered that the intended mate or even a member of their extended family, doesn't have to be the mate, okay? If an intended mate or their family had any unsavory thing that they did or said about that person who is breaking up with them, their family, they don't have to have done anything untowards to their fiance or their boyfriend or girlfriend, but they could have just did something untowards to their family, and that is considered grounds for dissolution, divorce, whatever. It's over. And so Gohan, I would conclude, over the years, his parents have been working on him, and I don't know how many years they've been together. I don't get the impression that it's been much longer than a couple years. Because Chocolate Thunder would not be considered a prize in Korea. I think she's gorgeous. I think, unfortunately, she's expanded largely. But we, in our culture, we have a different perception of thickness of a body. She's fat. She's overweight. I'm only saying that because that's impacting her health. I don't want to be on the Lizzo train, which is going off the cliff, because the train is going to break the bridge down. Okay? There's health issues that go along with being severely overweight. Even moderately overweight causes problems. So as someone who supports and tries to share health, I'm not going to get up here and lie to you and say, oh, yes, okay, be 300 pounds overweight. You're good. No. Right? Even 20 pounds overweight is going to cause issues. 10 pounds, I understand, can cause issues too. But, I'm black. I ain't going to be mad at you because you're 10 pounds over what? Whose idea of what's the standard weight? Right? For me, it's when the issues start showing up. And also, what are you eating? So I'm not going to sit back and say that, she's beautiful. But at the same time, in Korea, oh, no, she's not. No, she's not. We just heard about the game show where two Korean men were looking at another Korean woman. Good for them. And they were extolling just how friggin' pale she is. right? She got whitening creams and everything, and they don't like you. Who cares? That's their right. Right? Long as they do you no harm. If you need to go and visit their countries for whatever reason, go for yours. Travel the world. But don't go out there and calling people racist just because they want to maintain their own societies. They want to stay Korean. I want to stay black. But we have direct enemies working against that. That's why that channel was as big as it was. Okay? And so I am a black woman who traveled Asia for more than a year. Here's what I know about anti-blackness. There is undeniable loneliness that accompanies solo travel as a black woman. Right? And I'm thinking about the young lady who was just killed in Mexico. And she's not the only story like that. One too many stories. This is just a hazardous mindset to get into. Lovely young sister, this outfit here would not cut it in an Asian society. They're very modest about their attire. So right away, I'd done a share. I still have it, but YouTube took it down. Where a young lady was showing cleavage. You don't show cleavage in Asian societies unless you are saying, I'm a whore. And so here's another one. We need therapy. Not in this one specifically, but there was one where this woman is submitting herself to so much public humiliation. It's crazy. Where they're not together anymore. And she's trying to forge some just fantasy of co-parenting heaven between obviously two wholly separate cultures. And during one of them, Gohan was going on about, she was asking him these various questions, and he was revealing things about his sex life to the ex-wife, the baby mama of his two children, that he obviously is abandoning altogether. And during, not this one, but the other interview, she confessed that he's the one who revealed it actually, but she didn't deny it, that at the beginning of their relationship, she said, maybe we could do a threesome. And he thought to himself, no, I'm in a relationship. I don't want to do that. That's because for many Asian societies, that would be a loose woman, to put it nicely, right? If you can't walk around with your midriff showing, trust and believe, cooperating to be in a threesome is not something that any average Asian man is going to find respectful. That's what a prostitute does. So this woman has no boundaries, absolutely no boundaries, where she just thinks, oh, this is just culture. No, she is stuck in the middle of European and those derived from Europeans' lunacy. And there's no changing Asian societies just because you feel like it. There's things happening in these societies where the rest of the world has moved on, like even when it comes to websites. You go to a lot of Asian websites and you're like, geez, this is a mess. That's because things move very, very slowly in those societies. So you can't just walk in there with your Western concepts of attention. I don't want to use the word too much, whoring, but that's the name for it. And think that you're going to get respect. This woman here, she's going on about how she found out it's kind of dangerous being black and on your own because they don't value you. They don't value you. They see you as a tidbit, as a morsel. Right? I'm not saying you are. Goodness gracious, heck no, you're not. But when you go out there with this delusional fantasy about how everybody is just supposed to be responding to you in a certain particular way, you are the concubine colonizer, passively, aggressively trying to make the world do what you want it to do, like you own it. No, you do. But at the same time, people have a right to maintain their own societies. Just because you hate being black, it doesn't mean that everybody else is going to make up the slack for you. I didn't mean that to rhyme. It just came out that way. And so I was looking up, trying to find a particular story. I'll go over real quickly. But African top student was murdered in China. And then I'm looking and I'm running across all these international black students who get killed in Asian countries. Right? It's just, and then also teachers, because they'll go in and they'll teach whatever language it is that they specialize in, and they're gone. And this is the young brother, who, oh my goodness, Neville Kapoko Mathwapa. I'm trying my best because I have respect for African names, and I think I got the last name wrong. But this brother died in a car accident, but I don't think it was an accident. China cannot stand its own. Koreans cannot stand its own. That whole Halloween horror where over 150 people were squashed to death, asphyxiated because the crowds were crushing. I went and did follow up on that because I know there are, and I'm not mad at you if you think that it was a ritual type of thing, but I listened to interviews of people who were there, who were expatriates, a lot of white folks, and they said, what happened with that crush is Koreans can't stand other Koreans. And so they would step over those who were fallen with nary a care in the world. So black you going on up in there, and they don't give a damn about their own. And you think you're going to be okay. When I first ran across this brother's story, I saw his this photo, and I didn't see any others. But then looking it up more deeply, this dude was deep about the Benjamins. He was deep about showing off all that he had. And on top of that, he was brilliant. He was brilliant, but not wise at all. Right? So he was in China, and he managed to be the top student in 2 of their top universities. China is crazy competitive. And he had a Facebook page where he was just bragging constantly. He was studying civil engineering. And he also had an acumen at financial manipulation. And he would just show the different graphs. I mean, whoa. And he was making money. He was making big money. Chinese people are corrupt to the bone. I'm not saying they're made to be that way, but the atheism of the Chinese Communist Party has destroyed any wisdom that they might have. They don't give a damn about taking advantage of anybody available. And you gonna be black up in there showing yourself off? You damn right you are in danger. Okay? I mean, here's another one. South African student in China falls to her death under mysterious circumstances. I mean, the rollout is just, it's tragic. It's awful. Death of South African student in China ruled an accident. South African teacher found dead in her flat in China. Body of Zambian student still stuck in China. This is not the same brother. And this was even light skin, or not light skin, I wouldn't call him black, but a South African who wasn't black. South African student in China, death plunge. I mean, come on. Another South African teacher dies in China. And this one we all kind of know about. Zambian student clobbered to death for dating Chinese woman. And his brother right here on NPR. Oh, I can't stand NPR. But anyway, goats and soda. Really, dudes? The ugly side of being an African student in India. I'm sure if I look for the Korean stories, oh, they be there. And so how is Concubine you, where you are so desperate for the world to find you beautiful, when you already are? When you are, you don't need to ask anybody, do I look good in this? Do I look fat in this? And I don't mean that as a jibe at all. No, I don't. I've had eating issues my whole life, right? How you gonna go over there and tell them people to change all of that just for you? Go back to your people, to your family, and make the change that you can. Lord, help me to accept the things I can not change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference, right? I don't mean anybody any harm. I support real diversity where beautiful differences in race and culture have a right to maintain themselves. And that especially is beautiful, mighty, wise, most powerful people on the planet, because we know who the devil is. Us, black us. Straight black family pride is our map to forever. And if you get my books, you have the right directions to get to our eternal destiny of life and more abundantly. I love you, family. Oh, and get them off a 25,000-year cycle where my king, oh my goodness, he did a Zoom that was just, oh, it was popping. I wanted to hear it all over again, but unfortunately, we don't have. And the wonderful thing is he'll be doing it over again this Saturday. Go to the 25,000yearcycle.net website and RSVP. And I do believe it'll be in the morning on Saturday. And so you could hear just, whoa. I was just quiet the whole time pretty much because it was such astounding information he was sharing. Wow. We're building. Peace and blessings.